Okay, my name's Zakashi guys, and in this video here we are going to be doing a should you summon for the new Legends Limited Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. Now this was kind of expected, but for some people it wasn't, and the animations do look amazing. And I think the one thing that's caught people's eyes is his UUI mechanic, but we will get into his kit. I will give my opinion on whether I'm summoning and whether you guys should summon all in this video, so listen to everything I've got to say. We're coming out of the anniversary, and moving forward we'll be heading into the festival, which starts around November, but there'll be some other bits of information that you might want to know for this video, and depending on you, whether you're a big BROLY fan or even if you're not, the information in this video will definitely be useful. So subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this video. Now here are some pieces of information I need to give you before we get anywhere into talking about his kit and whether I think it's worth it for you guys to summon on Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. So the first thing I want to tell you about is the fact that we are heading into the festival. The festival starts around November, and given based on your anniversary results, or if you're completely new to the game, no matter what, you'd want to have a lot of chrono crystals ready for it, because the festival is as big as the anniversary, if not bigger. In my personal opinion, the festival has always been better than the anniversary. The characters they bring are super hype and always change the whole game drastically, especially if you care about PvP very much. I also want to say you guys should be very considerate about the chrono crystals you have right now. Coming out of the anniversary, we don't have a lot of chrono crystals anyways, because most of you guys have been spending, and maybe some of you guys spend on Legends Limited or Mega Shenron. So the odds that you have high chrono crystals right now in the first place is pretty low for the most of you anyways. So even if you did want to summon on this, you'd put your chrono crystals into it, your scraps, and still probably not get the unit. And even if you did get the unit would be low stars, and if you're trying to use them in PvP, you're probably just going to get shredded because you only got one copy, which actually isn't good enough in most cases anyways. But outside of that, most of you guys are genuinely free to play. So what you should do is not summon straight away, regardless of if you decide to summon. You should watch showcases. Content creators will be posting showcases. I can't guarantee I will do one, but somebody will post a showcase on the day of the release of the units. Find out what the unit can do, watch multiple showcases, and maybe give it a couple days, because there's literally no rush for you guys to summon. And let's say you really did want to summon, I think you should wait until the last day. The last day is probably the best day to summon, because from that point the meta will show whether the unit is actually useful or people were just wooed by his animations and whatnot. So for that basis, I think it's very good to wait. You don't have to summon first day, even the first week. I sometimes wait, sometimes myself, just because I'm a content creator. I do not have every unit. But I think the last thing I want to say, it's kind of in addition to the festival. This year you guys should know Dragon Ball Daima is coming out, and I think Dragon Ball Daima is going to bring some insanely hype units. We don't know all the characters in the series yet. We've just seen some screenshots of some characters and some kind of NPCs, but we haven't seen any of the big power-ups, if there is going to be, but it's Dragon Ball, so there will most likely be. So I advise you kind of get prepared for that as well, but that's all up to you whether you think it's going to be hype or not. But odds are it's going to be hype, and you don't want to regret not having chrono crystals when that comes out. And it comes out in October, whereas the festival starts in November, so the odds of us getting Daima right before the festival is high, so you're going to need to be prepared for that. Bear in mind we're in August right now. That's all I've got to say regarding information before you summon. Let's get into the kit breakdown now. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done is actually wrote down the most important parts of the kit, because you know there's a lot of lines, but you want to know the basics of what he does. This is a kit summary, not a complete every line breakdown. If you want to read the kit yourself, you can read it on the official Dragon Ball Legends website, but I'm basically going through all the important things so that you can know how to use them, not every single line. Like I said, this is a summary. His kit has a lot in it, but of course I do a lot on Twitter anyways. We're close to 10,000 followers, so if you haven't followed me on Twitter, be sure to do that. It's fun over here, trust me. But cool, let's get into the Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. So he's a transforming unit, which is important to know, and he does not have an ultimate art post transformation. So if we look here, he's a red element type, which could be useful to you, could be not, just keep that in mind. He's a melee type, and this is him pre-transformation, which is what we're going to start with. So his strike arts, it's just blast armor. His blast arts didn't do anything. Going into his special move, he reduces the enemy ki by 50 on hit, which is obviously useful. But what I found super amazing, even though this only activates once, is that he gets no switching on the enemy. There'll be no switching applied to them for 5 time counts. You probably fought UG4, so you know how annoying that is, but the fact that you can do this, if you use the blue card correctly, you can easily get a Rising Rush or something like that, combining it with other characters that could remove Vanish or something. He also has Blast Arm on it, charging forward, so just so you know, it's the type to go forward, you know. It's the blue card that will be moving forward. It's not going to be a throw or a beam or anything like that. Going into the green card, he gets 10% plus health from using it. Bear in mind, it's also the grab type as well, and he also gets 50 plus ki on activation of the green card. If you hit the green card, you will get a special move, and then it can combo into everything, and it also has blast armor. Like I already said, it's the moving forward type of one. His main ability is really hefty, really good. I really like it. Pre-transformation anyways, I'll get into the post one anyways. This we're talking about pre-transformation. So he's going to transform into the legendary Super Saiyan. He's going to draw 2 cards if he has 3 or fewer. He's going to restore his health by 50%. He's going to get 50 ki. He's going to get his vanish recovery all the way to 100. So if you transform after a vanish, you'll get your vanish back up. And he also resets his gauge to 0 if it's full, and he's going to gain 20% damage inflicted and destroy all of your enemy cards. So it's good to actually transform if you filled your gauge first. His gauge is pretty easy to fill. I believe it fills through pressing cards, which I'll get to that later. But pre-transformation, there's no way to empty it but transforming. But transforming will give you these effects and also destroy all of your enemy cards, which is good. Going into the unique ability, we get 170% the damage inflicted. This is a unique one, which is really good. 170% is good. I think it's like similar to, it's not similar, but it's nearing the numbers of G4. I think G4 had like 200%. Maybe 240 or something like that, which is crazy. Draw 1 card on entry if 3 or fewer, which is obviously good. You'd want him to get cards on entry. He gets key on entry. Cards and key on entry are so important nowadays. Not having that is crazy. He gets 5 timer counts of cover no on entry. He's going to reduce the enemy's card draw speed, which is obviously good, -1 level. And he also gets 15% damage inflicted for every strike and blast. So he's going to be one of those snowball units that will be increasing the amount of damage he's doing to the enemy every time he's pressing a card. Here it says once an enemy is defeated, which activates once. This is only once, so bear that in mind. He draws 2 cards if he has 3 or fewer. He's going to get 10% health and key 50 increase. He's going to restore his vanish gauge 100%. He's going to get 20% damage inflicted, and he's going to get draw speed 1 level increase. Now, what's important to note is people saw this and immediately saw, oh, Ultra Vegeta or Blue. Correct, but it's like a Temu version because it only activates once. So he can get Vanish Restore of transforming, which is his main ability, but he'll also get Vanish Restore 1 time of taking somebody out. With Ultra Vegeta or Blue, he gets Vanish Restore every time he takes somebody out. So he could solo the whole team and get Vanish Restore for every kill he gets. But with Broly, it's only going to be for the first kill he gets, which is quite unfortunate, but it's good enough, you know? It's actually good enough. Unique ability 2, he has a strike cover change, which only combos into the special move. When he's changing cover, so even if you don't land the strike cover change, he's going to get 15 health. So maybe switching him in could be good because he's going to gain health from just switching in. But then he will also take that damage, which he didn't have before in the first place. Key again popping up, which is good. So he's also going to always have a consistent fill of key. He gets type neutral from damage sustained for 10 timer counts, which is obviously good. So on the defensive end, like I explained, he'll be taking hits. Here, charges unique gauge every time this character uses an arts card. So like I said, he gains card from pressing, fills his gauge from pressing cards. If his gauge is full, he will draw 1 card, get 30 key. He's going to get 20% damage inflicted, which cannot be cancelled. This 30% damage inflicted for 5 timer counts can be cancelled, but it's only 5 timer counts anyways. So in total, you'll be getting 50, but the 30 extra only lasts for 5 timer counts. And he gets cover nullification for 5 timer counts. So he's got a lot of cover knowing as well as in his kit, which is pretty good. Now that's everything for the pre-transformation. Hopefully you've absorbed that. Let's get into the post-transformation. So just because this is a summary, I didn't write everything that was there because most of the things are the same, but there is some additions which I specifically did write. So the special move here, something big to note is that when you use the special move, it's based on how many enemy battle members are alive. So you actually do more damage when there's more battle members. So he's like a gauntlet runner. It's like as he's taking people out, he's obviously going to be getting, in a sense, weaker because he's getting jumped by people. So when there's 3 battle members alive, he's going to get 50% special move. If there's 2 enemy battle members alive, he gets 30%. And if there's only 1 left, it's 20%. I don't feel like there was a need to decrease it. They could have just kept it 50, but whatever. He also nullifies endurance. I feel like this was like an L nerf, but yeah. Going into the green card, he's going to get health and key. So 10% health, 50 key. Draws 1 card if there's 3 or fewer, which is obviously good. Before he only spawned the special move. Plus 20% damage inflicted. He can combo everything into it. It's the forward type moving. And he has blast armor when charging forward. Should be a given. His main ability post transformation is actually pretty crappy. Type neutral for 15 timer counts can be cancelled. But type neutral is obviously good whenever you can get it. He draws a special move. And then he gets 30% health and 50 key. That's pretty much it. It was pretty empty, I know. So the unique ability 1, after transforming, he goes type neutral for damage sustained. It's only for 20 timer counts, but it's really good because he'll be good defensively. People are saying, oh, all the blues are going to nuke him, Kid Buu, fusing Super Vegito. I feel for Kid Buu, he does insane damage regardless. And for fusing Super Vegito, it doesn't matter who you are, unless you're like Ultimate Gohan or someone that cancels buffs. The rush is going through. The rush is going through regardless. It just won't kill if you have endurance or something, you know? So it doesn't matter that he's type neutral for like the likes of Vegito, and Kid Buu does damage regardless. But he won't get melted for arts cards, which is good to know. It inflicts all enemies attribute downgrade minus 15% to strike and blast arts power. So now you're going to notice there's a lot of things that he's debuffing the enemy, so he's going to be able to tank a lot more effectively. People might not see this at the start, but it's going to be a lot more impactful than people think will meet the eye. And this is applied to the enemy, so it's not just going to be useful for Broly, it's useful for the whole team. Here, inflicts enemies attribute downgrade minus 20% special move, ultimate damage, and awakened arts power. So you're going to be doing less damage overall. On entry, he randomly draws one new card if you have 3 or fewer. He's going to get 30 key. He's going to get cover nullification for 5 time accounts. Again, consistent cover null is good. Key on entry, cards on entry. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 50% to strike and blast arts power. That's on entry in addition to what we saw here, which is obviously good. And then inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 20% to special move ultimate. Again, the debuffs are coming in. This is just what I wanted to mention. In addition, just like Pre, he gets 15% damage inflicted for every strike and blast arts used. That's the snowball effect. He nullifies reduce enemy key effects for 10 time accounts, which activates once and it resets on switch. So if he switches out and switches back in, it's going to happen again. It's super good to have that because nobody will be reducing his key, so he can combo freely. But he still kind of has to be worried for key cost increase if that happens, you know. Once an enemy is defeated, which activates once, similar to pre-transformation, he's going to get all these things. So he's going to draw a card, get health, get key, vanish goes up. It's shared prior and post-transformation, which is important to know. He gets damage inflicted from it and draws one card. One level of draw speed goes up. Pretty much same as pre-transformation. Now, the unique ability too is where the juice comes in. Now, this is where his mechanic really kicks in, right? So, he obviously has to strike cover again. But here it says he has the UUI cover change stop. So you know when UUI, he tried to cover change so that you can save your person, UUI drags you back in. It's basically, he has exactly that, but it's not the same effects. So the reason why Ultra UI's cover change grab was good is because it locks you in and can guarantee you a kill. But with Broly, it does damage and it doesn't guarantee you the kill. There's no lock-in with time account, there's no switching or anything like that. You just have to get locked in. So what's going to happen is if you try switch, the person you tried switch with would get the 10 time accounts back up because they got thrown out, of course. But the person you're in with can still get swapped out by somebody else because it's a free man PvP game, you know? So what I would advise to do just to go around it, if you're curious about it, you would obviously switch out with the person that you don't care about so that you can use his effect, the UUI bring back in whatever it is with Broly, and then switch in the person you do want to actually have tank the hits. That's a good way to get around it. You just have to waste 2 switches. It's very risky though. But yeah, this activates twice, so you only get it twice. With Ultra UI, you also get it twice. Once at the start of the battle, and then the second time is on last stand, but they don't stack. With Broly, it doesn't stack either. The first one you get immediately, right? But then you can't use the second one until the Broly is switched out and then switched back in. So that's just important to know. He only has 2. But then when it activates, you get 30 key. It's minus 100% health restoration for the enemy. It deals some damage, but it can't cause them to get defeated. And you can combo everything into it, which is good to know. And then here is just in reference to his gauge. He has a pretty simple gauge. His cards fill gauge, all type of cards. He empties the gauge when it fills, and then these effects will kick in. So he gets 2 cards if he has 3 or fewer. He's going to get health and key again. There's always that health and key combo with him. Damage inflicted, which cannot be cancelled, which activates once. But he also gets extra 30% damage inflicted for 5 time accounts. And he also gets cover null for 5 time accounts. So him having consistent cover null on entry and gauge fill is super useful because he'll be able to combo consistently, which is obviously effective when doing damage right nowadays. The pretty much only person that can stop him so easily is UG4 in my opinion. But that's pretty much it for his kit. Let's get into my opinion. Now, if you want my opinion on whether I think you should summon, you're gonna have to listen to me thoroughly. Now, for most people, I don't feel like this guy is necessary, but let me explain why I think that. This guy, by no means is he bad. He is actually really, really good. He's gonna be one of those units that you can't stop from doing damage because he has consistent cover null. But UG4 being so dominant, I feel like UG4 is the one guy that can stop this guy because of how his gauge works. BROLY can continue doing damage, but he doesn't have anything to protect himself from like a rising rush, and UG4's best partner is using Super Vegito, of course. So for that sake, especially with him being red, I'm not too impressed with his ability to tank stuff, because a rising rush will still take him the hell out. A lot of blue cards can still do so too, and the ultimate will still do in crazy damage, even though he has those debuffs, because units nowadays are just so good in general. That's not even talking about any other people like Ultimate Gohan, who can just remove your vanish. You know, the meta powerhouses right now are still insane. Now, depending on what team you run, if you're a powerful opponent main, he's that red that is going to be the new juice. CMZ does exist, yes, and the explosive greens are super useful with the anti-Saiyan mix going all the way around, but I feel like Broly's combo potential is really high because of the way his gauge works, his vanish restore potential, and he will actually be doing a lot of damage in addition to the Saiyan buffs that he'll be getting from his teammates, so likes of Super Baby 2 for example. On powerful opponents, he's going to be super good. If you're running him on the movies, I don't feel like his potential is going to be really that high, because movies itself isn't as valuable as the other teams right now, like Majin Buu Saga, GT, Fusion Warriors for example. Movies isn't bad, and it does increase value for Ultra Golden Frieza, but even if you didn't want to run movies or powerful opponent, if you had Fusion Warriors, Majin Buu Saga, I don't feel like this guy is an absolute necessity at all. His animations are super good, don't get it twisted, and there were some things in his kit that were obviously amazing. For example, that UI thing is actually really good, because if you do it to the right person, or if you're 1v2 or Broly's alive and you're fighting 2 other people, that one switch is basically a lock-in. It's the same thing, you know, unless you have a unit that decreases 10 timer counts, which pretty much no units do. They've decreased like 5 or 6, 7. 10 is crazy. Broly's good to go crazy, and he's going to get Vanish Restore on his first kill. He has Vanish Restore on his main ability. He has a lot of good things in his kit, but it depends on what team you want to run, in my opinion. Even with powerful opponents, you could really settle for CMZ and the anti-Saiyan stuff. The type neutral green, you know, the main is good as well. He's an insane Zenkai. But I don't want to put that out to downplay Broly. I think Broly is absolutely going to be a really good unit for the guys that do invest in him, but it's more so the question of, do you need him? And need is not the thing that comes to mind when I see Broly's kit. I think it's a want, and with that want, he's going to give you good results. But even if you don't want him, you will be completely fine without him, depending on what they drop for the rest of the campaign, but we can't actually predict the future. Also, we don't have Videl's kit, and I feel like she could be a very good 1% sparking alongside Broly. If we look at the trend that we've got with Omega Shenron, for example, Omega Shenron is green, and you know he's a victim to UG4, but he has Indestructible to counter that. But then they dropped Rage Shenron, who's yellow, who protects Omega Shenron from those purples. In this case, Broly is red, and they've dropped a Videl who's green, which protects Broly from blues, and that is very good. They could be really good partners alongside with the Dragon Fist Zenkai. So if you got all the pieces for a movies team, you will be good probably. And powerful opponents has been good, and they're just getting better with this Broly, but I feel like most people will not need him. So for most people, my answer is going to be no, you should not summon on this, you should skip it, especially with all the diamond stuff coming up and saving for the festival. And they're most likely going to drop 2 more good units, maybe 1 Legends Limited at least, maybe an Ultra, we don't know, since it's a whole campaign. That could be relating to the movies. Ultra Cooler could shake the verse. I'm thinking a triple tag switch if we're going really hype, especially before Daima and the festival to bait people. But honestly, I just don't see this guy as a must, but he is good. Don't get twisted. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not downplaying him at all. His animations are amazing, but he isn't shaking the game completely, especially with his element choice, in my opinion. Now, will I be summoning? I'm not summoning day one. Not because I don't want to. I think Broly is really good. I might not summon for him at all, but unfortunately, I'm sucked into a family holiday, so I won't be here to post content anyways. I'll just be posting videos that I made prior, maybe some discussion videos that I make. I won't be able to post content actively on this new Broly, besides from anything I record on Wednesday, so no tier list or anything like that. So I'm personally not going to summon, because I'll be summoning for a unit that I wouldn't be able to use, and if that unit also ends up being absolutely terrible in PvP, I'm gonna be pissed off. So I'm not going to be summoning for that reason. But if I come back from that family holiday, I think it'll be like a week, then I hear he's really good. I'll do a couple pulls. I've got like 14,000 Chrono Crystals. Hopefully I'll get 1 copy. If I don't, it is what it is, you know. But that's my current situation. It's nothing to do with the game itself. I actually do want a copy of him because I love his animations. But if he's absolutely trash, you know, after I come back or I'm just seeing that, I'm going to be like, hey, good thing I skipped that, boy. I'm going to be hyped. But that's pretty much all I've got to say for my what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know whether you're going to be summoning or skipping for Ultra Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Like I said, I think he looks really good. I love his animations, but it's really down to you with a preference thing. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.